all night, every night, and I'd have conditioning at 5 a.m. There's no
Hmm.
such thing as like cry it out because I had roommates. So I'm like, okay, you need
Hmm.
to be quiet. I'm rocking her and I'm watching the clock just turn over, just turn
Hmm.
over. And by the
Hmm.
time it gets to 3:30 in the morning and I'm looking at the clock, I'm like, there's no point in going to bed at this point.
Welcome to Dugouts to Daughters, where the love of the game comes full circle. I'm Trisha Hyde.
And I'm Alexa Williams. We're two former collegiate softball players who traded in our cleats for carpool lines, batting cages, and cheering from the stands as our daughters now take the field.
This podcast is all about the journey from the dugouts we once called home to raising daughters who are creating their own. We talk the highs, the lows, the lessons learned, and everything in between as sports moms who've been there and are living it all over again.
So grab your glove or maybe just your coffee and join us as we share stories, laughs, and a whole lot of softball.
All right.
Okay.
Should we get into like why we're doing this?
Yes.
Maybe because we talk 2 to 3 times at least a week. We should go back and like say how long we've been friends for.
Okay.
We met in what
So,
year?
oh God. I started uni in 2013, 2015,
Did you
2015.
really? Okay. Okay.
And
Well, I feel
then
like
I
we met 2018, right?
on a trip,
Was it a
right?
trip first? Maybe.
I think we ran in the same circle and unique and both
Hmm.
were like high level. And
Hmm.
um, I think we officially met at Allie's
Yeah.
when she went.
That's where I feel like I like remember you the most is what at Allie's house. But I remember you sharing, like, right, we had to share a wise story, and you were like talking about softball, and I was like, I played softball. Wait, what? You played college softball too? You were a pitcher? And I knew like immediately, I was like, we're gonna be friends because she gets it. Like she under
Yes.
she understands it. And then we've always stayed in contact, even after Unique, we've always stayed in contact. And then especially when our girls, right?
Played
Dugouts to
each
daughters.
other in Traverse and then
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of we've been talking ever since multiple times a
Yeah.
week.
Talk one of those
Can't wait
things
for
where I know it's one of those things like recap after the week, and I'm like, you would never believe what happened here, you know? All that,
yeah.
all the travel ball drama, we'd recap each other every weekend. And so we're both
Yes.
coaches, different kind of
Yep.
coaches, I would say, though, in the softball world.
Yes. Yes.
So if you guys don't know, Alexa owns Strike Three out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Absolutely killed it. I knew instantly with Evelyn's, like, not even, I knew prior. Let's be real. It's the drive. I drive an hour and 46 minutes to see Alexa. Evelyn, I mean, I feel like I see you too. But once to 2 times a week or 2 times a month. We go like every
Mhm.
other, sometimes every week, just depends on where we're at,
Yep.
Evelyn's at in her journey. But she owns Strike Three out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. She is a softball pitching coach, a very highly successful, like very successful, because I say this because I see your girls like you are producing successful pitchers. Like,
The girls are doing well. They really are.
yeah, they are. And I mean, you had one go to the World Series this year, right?
Yep, the Little League World Series. We've got a state championship on
Yep. You got
our belt.
you got girls playing in
Yeah.
college, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
More to come.
and yes. Yeah, so you had a pitcher go to the Little League World Series. You've had kids win state championships. You've had kids go play in college. I think for me, what sold me on you. I mean, I knew you knew pitching, but right, there's a lot of people that know the game and know how to play the game and do all the things, but can you teach it, right? Relate
Right.
to a, can you relate to a player where it is connecting the dots from A to B and they can do the same thing? And it was in the beginning of Evelyn going to you and there was Hannah was working because you have pitching instructors underneath you, really good pitching, which I hope we can bring on and
Yes.
share their journey. Uh, but she was working with two pitchers, you were working with Evelyn, and then you were working, and I'm gonna say her name. I'm gonna try not to name drop a ton on here, but McKenna, because I don't think there's I think McKenna will enjoy this. We love McKenna, but McKenna is
Yeah.
a now sophomore in high school,
Yep.
and Evelyn is 12, but at the time they were like sixth grader, ninth grader. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And Hannah had two girls that were different ages as well.
Yeah.
Yep. And I loved it because when I was looking at all four of them, they all had the same foundation.
Yes. Same foundation, but we cater each lesson, even though we're at the same time, we cater each lesson to each kid.
Yeah.
So it's
And
not cookie cutter. I mean,
right.
there's the absolutes in pitching. It's not cookie cutter, but we cater each lesson to each kid and their needs.
Yeah. And what was incredible with, kind of bragging on Hannah a little bit, she had a pitcher who's mentally, right? Because pitching is so mental. She had a
Yes.
kid that was mentally struggling. And, it was crazy because you could tell she was struggling in the beginning of her lesson, but like Hannah
Mhm.
worked it with her and like talked it out, and she ended up finishing really well in her lesson, and that was like sold. And so,
Yes, and I think that's where, like, if you've done it, like you talked about in your last podcast that you did, about females to females, and I think that's where, as a woman, somebody who's been there and done that, we understand the emotional side and the mental side that these young girls are going through. And nothing against male coaches. I mean, I think there's so many good male coaches, but
mhm.
I also feel like they don't necessarily understand that
No.
emotional side of us women go through during our pitching journey.
Right. We definitely need a balance of male and female coaches. We were both
Agreed.
very
Agreed.
much coached by our dads, so we won't hate on male coaches. You had a college, high
Yes.
school coach, right? He was, or your
He
college,
was
not college, high
male.
school.
My
Yes.
high school coach was male.
Yes.
My college coach was male. Yeah, I mean, I think they're great, but on each of those staffs, there's always like a female.
Yes. And with that
Balance it
being
out a little bit.
Yes, and a lot of people, well, in the last podcast I did with Ashley, she couldn't believe she thought I was Evelyn's pitching coach, and I was like, no, actually, she has somebody. Like I am not her pitching coach because I want to be her mom first, and that's the same thing with Layla. Alexa's daughter, Layla,
Yes.
goes to Hannah.
Hannah. Yep, because
Yeah,
I'm her mom.
yeah,
She doesn't want to listen to what I have to say. And she thrives under Hannah. In a
yeah,
relationship. And I just ask her at the end of the lesson, okay, what do we got to work on outside of lessons? Hannah tells me, we work on it, and then I send her back to Hannah.
yeah, yep. And we both have called each other very frustrated with our daughters. So
Absolutely.
we we've called each other, we've witnessed it, we've been there. And I'm thankful for Alexa because there's times where she's like, girl, like, you know, you know and I know, like this is how it's gonna go, right? And
Yep.
I've said to you, I'm like mom to mom. So we definitely I like that. I like that about our friendship because I know I look at my husband sometimes and I'm like, you just don't got it. You just don't get it, you know? So
Absolutely.
yeah. All right. So let's talk about your story because I know a little bit about your story, but I feel like uh I only know like Cliff Notes, you know? And
Yeah.
I think as yours, you know, blessings from the Lord above, right? I'm sure in the moment you were like, why are you doing this to me? But before we get into that like part of the story, tell me when you started playing softball.
Okay, so I think like most girls, I started playing t-ball way
Hmm.
back. I think when we were younger, you probably didn't start until you were like 6, 7-ish.
Hmm. Hmm.
So started with t-ball in the local rec league, and then I really didn't start until 12 or 13.
What now,
Travel
tell
wasn't
me,
really a thing.
did you want to start like being a pitcher in softball when you started?
I did. I think it was just kind of a random like swing your arm around that rec league type thing. Like everybody wants to.
Hold on, you're breaking up. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Holy cow. World of a difference.
Okay,
So for
shoot.
everybody that suffered through that first part of the podcast, hang in there. It's gonna get better. It's their first one. Listen, the OGs will remember the first podcast
They
and how
will.
horrible it was, but we were here with heart and passion, and that's
We
all that
are.
matters. So
Okay, so
that
that's
is what survives you on this game, right? Heart and passion.
okay, so that's
So,
better.
oh yeah, 10 times better.
Okay. All right. Back into
Okay.
it.
So
Um,
recap, you played T-ball, picked dandelions, right? Didn't do much.
yeah.
And then you joined the local little league at what age?
It was just Little League up, I would say all the way up until I was like 12.
Yeah,
And
same.
and then I tried out for back then there was only like 5 travel teams.
Hmm.
And only the best of the best made it, only the best of the best played. So I was getting the hang of pitching. I was seeing a pitching coach. And it was going okay. I got cut off of every single team in in the west side of Michigan. Every single
Well, I told you I tried out for is Grand Rapids Blaze still around?
It is not, it just folded, I think, last year or 2 years ago, but that was my first travel ball team.
Well, I got cut, so here, high
Perfect.
five.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so before that, I was cut off of every single team. And I was like, you know what? And back then they would mail you letters, like to let you know,
Just
if you made
waiting by the
so
mailbox, right?
I'm sitting at the kitchen table with my mom opening these letters. I'm sorry, you're cut. I'm sorry, you're cut over and I'm just bawling. I'm like, you know what? This isn't for me. And so I actually quit or kind of
Ooh, see, I didn't
like
know this. I love
not
this.
for a long time, but for a little bit. And this was like going into my freshman year of high school, I think. And so then I went to a very small, I'm talking there was 11 of us in the whole high school. And so
Mhm.
we like combined with another local school and I played on their softball team. And that coach kind of took me under his wing and was like, "Well, we need you to be a pitcher, so you're going to be a pitcher." I'm like, "Okay." And he kind of brought the love back into the game for me a little
Mhm.
bit. And
I
and
did
so
not know all this. I love this so
yes,
much. I love
yes.
it.
So I stuck with him for a little bit, and that's when things started to really kind of take off for me, was like my freshman year of high school. I was what they would call a late bloomer. So yeah, late bloomer. So I wasn't great, like all through middle
Mhm.
school, freshman year. I wasn't anything stellar. Um, and then it kind of started to take off a little bit, like, okay, I'm figuring out my body. I think I see a future with this. So then that led me to my last pitching coach, and she's the one who really took me from here to here. She
So
was
we
phenomenal.
have stuff in common though, because she was under
She was under Doug Gillis.
Doug Gillis. And so my pitching coach was also under Doug Gillis. And so I think that's one thing that when me and you talk about pitching, it's very easy for you and I to always
We
be
have the same
on the same.
foundation. Yeah.
Yes, we learn the same way. We have the same foundation. The lingo's the same. Um, so that is one thing that I feel like instantly we connected on. But go ahead. So
Yes.
you're into your high school year.
So freshman year, I played for that really small school, and that's when I'm like, okay, I need to make a decision here. If I want to play in college, I'm probably going to have to go to a bigger school, get in the travel ball scene, all of that. So I did play for the Grand Rapids Blaze. And then actually my very first travel ball coach is Central Michigan's head coach, McCall.
That
So
is awesome. That is
yes,
so
he
cool.
was my very first travel ball coach, way back in the day. But anyway, so I did travel and then I transferred to Caledonia, which was a bigger public school in Grand
Mhm.
Rapids, and played high school ball there.
How many did you graduate with there? Like what division is it? Caledonia.
It's Division 1.
What is
Um,
the big one?
it is Division 1. I don't even know how many I graduated with, to be honest.
What was the school, if you don't mind saying, what was the school you did go to? Like, what was your name that you guys played under for softball?
West Michigan Lutheran was the small school that
Oh,
I went to. And then I played on Triunity Christian's softball team. So we
does
kind of
that
like
still exist or no?
Triunity. Yeah, they both do actually. They both
Okay.
still exist. So I actually have some pictures that attend Triunity, which is so funny.
Yeah, that's
Um,
great.
but yeah, so then that was my freshman year, and then I went to Caledonia my sophomore through senior year.
Okay. All right.
hmm
And then how many did graduated with at Caledonia?
I honestly don't remember. I would say like 300 some, maybe. I really don't
Okay.
know. It's a lot bigger
Now,
now, but
well, now my question is, do you think you got recruited? And we can get into the recruiting, but I have to know, did you get recruited from travel ball or from high school ball or camps?
this is actually so when people ask me about recruiting, I say it's who you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit of luck. Like, are you seen at the right time, at the right place?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I think camps is a huge one, and the again, who you know, the right travel ball program. But actually, I was recruited, to my knowledge, playing in the big league World Series. So not high
That's
school,
great though.
not travel ball, big league World
I
Series.
love that though, because to everybody, okay, I shouldn't say everybody. I feel like there's just this stigma of you need to go to a big high school to get recruited. And I was recruited from a camp.
Okay.
Um, I think a Douglas pitching camp actually.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely think it's all about networking and who you know, how good, like I really think the future is how good your social media game is going to be. I think a
Oh yeah,
lot of
it's a huge
recruitment,
factor.
I think that's going to play a huge role into the next couple of years. Um, I think the idea of you playing for like a big travel ball program and a big showcase event is like that's luck for you to be
It's
seen.
luck. It's luck.
That's
You have
luck.
to reach out to these coaches and
Yeah.
be like,
You have to
hopefully we're at
sell
the same
yourself.
place at the same time, and I'm on my A game because I have had that situation where I really wanted to play for Grand Valley, which is obviously in Grand Rapids. And the coach came and watched me at one of my travel ball tournaments. And it was like I had probably thrown 6 games in 2 days, 7 games in two
Uh,
days,
you weren't
and
fresh.
he came and watched the championship game and I got lit up. Absolutely
Hmm.
lit up. I'm talking just bombs to the fence. My arm was
I
shot,
have, yeah,
and,
I mean, you're not fresh at all. I have
and
a
I
very similar
watched
story.
him.
Hmm.
I watched him watch me get lit up and then I watched him walk away. And I was like, there it goes. There's that my chance is over. And, they didn't end up recruiting me. And I ended up at Saginaw Valley, their rival.
Hmm.
Um, but I'll tell you what, when we played Grand Valley, I had a little extra fire in me.
I was gonna say, so how did you guys, when you played at Saginaw, like how did you do against Grand Valley?
I didn't ever lose to them.
That's fantastic. You know what I mean? That is the adversity of things that softball teaches you, right?
Yeah.
That you're like, like that stung, right? Him walking away stung, and you're like, I'm gonna take this seriously, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a similar story. We'll share that next episode when we talk about my journey because very, very similar in the same aspect. So,
No,
high
I totally
school, tell me about playing high school softball, like your experience with it.
My high school softball career was fun.
Hmm.
We had a very relaxed coach. He was kind. We were just really like back then, there wasn't a ton of travel ball. So it was just a lot of like basketball players playing softball. And there was a handful of us, maybe two, three, four of us that took softball seriously.
There
But
was I feel like a time where basketball, travel basketball was definitely more the dominant sport.
absolutely. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
played travel basketball too, but and that was a thing, right? But travel
Hmm.
softball wasn't as much. So we were just a bunch of athletes out there trying to play softball, and it was it was really fun because nobody expected us to be good. Um,
Yeah, very similar.
so, by the time I was a senior, Caledonia softball was on the map, and we went to the regional final and we ended up losing, but it was a really fun journey for me. And I know not everybody has that experience, but I enjoyed my high school experience. We had good teammates, good friends, good
I did
coaches. It
too.
was fun. So,
Do you know who you lost to in regionals? Like, can you still remember the game and everything about it?
oh yeah,
I thought so. Yeah.
we
It's
lost
funny.
to Hudsonville.
Was
Um,
that coach the same coach
yes,
coaching?
yes, yes. So the Hudsonville coach and I are very close now,
Yes.
and I
He's
train a lot
great
of.
though. I
Yeah.
really like him.
But yeah, we went 14 innings. I pitched all 14 innings and we lost 2-1 on a drop third strike overthrow. So, but I'm not
That
salty about
stings.
it at all.
Yeah, no, that's something
No,
about it. Nope.
no,
Nope.
yeah, it was, I think a lot of people remember that game. That was really fun. I mean, looking back,
Now,
it was a great moment.
for me, I do remember my high school experience. I don't remember a lot of my travel ball experience. Travel ball was more about like all the fun things we did for
Yes.
me. Like my memories, if I'm thinking of memories, I don't remember, like I said in the podcast, and I'll get into it. Like I don't remember playing Bat Busters, which Bat Busters down south back in the day was good. I don't
Yeah.
know what their status is now. I feel like those organizations are so big, it's like a hit hit and miss kind of
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
But back in the day they were really good, and I don't remember that game. My dad does, but I remember going to like the Tennessee Caves, the mall,
The
eating
hotels,
dinner,
swimming,
swimming, hotel.
dinner.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So tell me, do you remember your travel ball experience, or is it like the same thing?
It's the same thing. I remember the Grand Valley game or the where the Grand Valley coach came and watched me. I remember that vividly. But other than that, I remember, messing around at warm-ups. I remember going out to eat. I remember like early mornings with my dad. We'd be driving to Ohio, Indiana, wherever. I'd be sleeping. He'd pull into a gas station. He'd grab a Red Bull. He'd hand it to me, say, drink this. I'd chug the Red Bull, and off we went to warm up.
Your addiction to energy drinks started a lot
Early,
younger than mine.
started
Yes.
early.
Yeah.
I wasn't really addicted to energy drinks like in college or anything, but that was, and my dad would be like, drink this Red Bull. You need to wake up. And I'd drink it and off we went. And now I'm
I
addicted to
didn't
all of this, but
I didn't drink energy drinks or coffee until my sophomore year of college.
I didn't drink either until probably 2 years ago. I was
I didn't
never a
drink
coffee.
alcohol until college.
Yeah, me either. I don't think I did.
I
I
mean,
didn't in high school.
my dad was like, "You got a scholarship, and if you drink, you will." It's kind of like if you get pregnant, you will die. That was
Yeah,
the baseline that was laid out to me. So I was like, "Okay, I won't drink."
same.
So,
Social media wasn't really a thing back then, but like it was, you have this.
hmm
And if you drink, if you do this, it's gone. Your scholarship is
yep,
gone. And so I
hmm
took it seriously.
I did too.
There were definitely times when it was hard. And like at my facility on the wall, it says if you want to live differently than everybody else, or if you want to be better than everybody else, you have to live differently than everybody
Differently.
else.
Yeah, you have to
And
make the sacrifices for sure.
you do. And there were plenty of times where 4th of July or like these weekends where, I live in West Michigan. So everybody has a cottage, everybody has a boat, and I wanted to be doing those things with my friends as a teenager.
hmm
And I was in Ohio playing softball. And for 4th of July, I was in a hotel room with my dad watching the fireworks out the window. And,
Feel this to my core.
yeah, and it's tough as a teenager to
hmm
make those sacrifices. I wasn't allowed to go skiing in the winter. I wasn't allowed to go tubing in the summer. And
It's
then,
so funny you say that about skiing. Evelyn wants to learn how to ski, and I was like, "Oh no, you're a pitcher. You can't learn how to ski." And I am like the
mm-mm.
worst mom. All her friends ski. First of all, I feel like if she would have grew up skiing, maybe we could have a conversation. But I'm like, it's really hard.
it is hard in one fall. You break your arm, your wrist.
Yeah,
It's, you're
yeah.
set back. And so that was definitely a struggle. And I remember specifically one time, this is straight karma. I had a big tournament. I don't remember where it was. I want to say Illinois. And my friends came over, and back then it was when longboards were cool, like the
Hmm.
skateboards.
Hmm. Yep. Hmm.
And I'm not a skateboard girly, so like I don't have the balance for that. But all my friends did it. And my dad goes, "So help me God, you get on that longboard and hurt yourself before your tournament. I'm gonna kill you."
Hmm.
And I was like, "It's fine, I won't get on it." I got on it. When
Yeah.
we left with my friends, I got on it and I fell so hard and scraped up my whole right forearm and my
Uh,
whole right hip. Okay. And
you
so,
couldn't even hide the evidence.
well, I came home, I was in a sweatshirt. I was like, I'm in so much trouble. And it was one of those early morning things. I'm like, okay, we got to leave early in the morning. How am I going to hide this? And, it's like 95 degrees out. So we're in short sleeves. And I had bandaged my arm. But, when you pitch, your elbow brushes
Yep.
your hip every single time. And
Hmm.
so he didn't notice until I got out on the mound. And every single pitch, it was busting open that scab. And it would just rip it open, rip it open, rip it open every single pitch. But I couldn't say anything because my dad had told me, do not get on the longboard.
Don't do it.
And
Don't do it.
he is behind the backstop, arms crossed, staring at me.
Like,
Like, the second this game is over, I'm whooping you. Like I was like, oh, I'm in so much trouble. And I did get in a ton of trouble, but he's like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, you can't
hmm.
do these things that your friends are doing because you are going after something differently than what they are. You
Hmm.
have this at risk. And so that was a good learning experience for me. But
Well, we'll talk about that. This whole Dugouts to Daughters, we're going to talk about learning experiences, and I think how karma is definitely working for
yeah.
us with
Oh, it
our
is.
kids. And but I think we both have realized that our kids, I mean, we can warn them all day long, right? Just like our parents warned us.
Yeah,
Um, but definitely in their pitching journey with Layla and Ev, that they have to experience that.
they do.
They,
They gotta learn on their own sometimes, and it's
Mhm.
so hard as a mom to
I
watch
hope our
it.
kids don't get on longboards or ski though. I'm just gonna say, like, if you see my kid on either one of those, you have full permission to yell at her and get
Yeah,
after her. So,
same, same, because
yeah,
I mean, you just have to live a little bit differently, and yeah, gosh,
yeah.
good times,
Uh,
good times.
I think for I think we could get our dads on here. I think our dads, I would love to hear their perspective of
They're
raising
the,
us. We
they are the
definitely have, they are the same. We've talked a lot about this.
Dano
I've
and
met your
Dave.
dad, Dano and Dave, the Dano and Dave episode. I met your
Yeah,
dad, I think twice now. You know Dano real well. Um, Dano has came down and caught a couple times, played against each other. We've actually have played against each other a handful of times now too. So
yeah.
we've experienced that. Okay, so travel ball, you did travel ball, and did you play for Grand Rapids Blaze the entire time?
I played for Grand Rapids Blaze, and then I played for Diamonds, which is the
Oh, you
organization my
you
daughter
did play
plays.
for I did not know that. I thought, okay, I thought you got it. All right, so you played. When did you switch over to Diamonds?
I think I only did the Blaze for 1 year.
Oh, okay.
So would have been, maybe I did 2 years. But probably 15,
Oh, okay.
16
Yeah.
around there.
Is that
I
when you
played.
started traveling out of state too?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. We didn't really travel out of state until I think 14 U, and I would say like we went down south, I think. Again, this is where like the Dano and Dave, because I feel like
Yeah.
their memory is gonna be better than ours.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about who were you all recruited by? How did you make your decision on Saginaw Valley? And start there with your college experience of playing softball.
I think because I was a late bloomer, I was recruited mainly by the smaller schools around here, the Aquinas, the Cornerstones, Calvin, Hope, those
Same,
kind of schools.
same. Hmm.
Elma and things like that. And Saginaw Valley was, and I did get recruited by Gardner Webb, which is in North Carolina, I think. Um,
Why didn't you go there? It's warm there.
hindsight, right? Um, but I ended up at Saginaw Valley. We went on a visit there. He saw me in the Big League World Series. So we won two World Series. And I pitched in those games, and that's where my coach saw me. So we went on a visit there. In my mind, I wanted to play D1 so bad.
Hmm.
So I thought,
Same.
okay, Division two, that's as close as I'm gonna get for right now. Um, and so that's kind of, I mean, I visited campus and I loved it, and it just kind of, that was my decision. That was it. I didn't have like 100 offers or anything like that.
Hmm.
So, um, but we went on a visit, and my dad really liked the coach. He asked him, he goes, "Are you a little bit of a hard ass?" And the coach goes, "I can be." And my dad was like, "Sold. Here's my daughter. Here you go."
There
And
you go.
so that's where I ended up. But no regrets there. I loved it. I had a great, college career. Quite the journey. We'll get into
Quite the,
that, but
yeah.
it was good. It was really good. I love go cards. Go cards. So
I'm glad you have that experience because I don't feel connected to my college where I went. Like I don't
yeah.
have that, and I wish I did. Like I really
Yeah.
do. But
And I'm
I
sure not
just,
everybody felt that way. I'm sure I have a lot of teammates that probably didn't feel the same way. Everybody's experience is different. So that's why when I see things, how on TikTok there was like that trend that was
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
talking about their trauma from college or whatever.
Hmm.
And I like those stories are valid. Those girls who went through tough times are valid, but I also think there's girls who had the same coach, the same years, and had a different experience. And it just,
I think
I think
that's like
we
with
have different
any coach in any
yeah,
level.
absolutely.
Yeah. And I think it
Absolutely.
comes down to what level and where you were at in your softball journey and if you connected, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think, and what a kid needs out of a coach, right? Like, your dad's like, you're a hard ass. I want you for my daughter.
Yeah.
I think for my situation, it was all female coaches and it was an adjustment for me. I went
Mhm.
from an
You
all
had your
male to a female, and I was like,
yes.
and now that's why I'm like, I love female coaches. I think every team needs them, but I need a male coach too,
Yes. I think
to
you need
balance.
the
Yeah.
balance. Absolutely. No.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I was in college, I mean, it was hard. It was
Yeah.
really hard. It was,
And your journey got super hard.
it did get super hard. We'll get into that, but it was not easy. Like, but anything worth having is not easy.
No,
Um,
no.
and
Now, did
there
you
were
strength train or do speed and agility or anything prior to going to college, up playing in college?
I did not, and I wish
I
I
didn't
would.
either. Same, same.
But again, I don't think that was really like a thing back then. There wasn't, now there's trainers on every corner, and
Hmm.
you know, back then there just really wasn't. But also I was the oldest. My parents didn't know what they didn't know.
Same, same.
So, by the time they got to my little sister, she had all the training, all the tools, all was at the Colorado Sparkler. She was out in California. She was doing the dang thing,
Those damn little sisters, Where did your
I
little sister go to playing
Grand
college?
Valley.
She
Grand
went to
Valley.
Grand Valley.
She went to
Yeah.
Grand Valley. She played both
Where'd your
basketball.
middle sister, what did your middle sister do?
She played basketball at Concordia, Wisconsin.
Okay. Oh, so fun fact about me and Alexa, we're both the oldest of three girls. So our families are
Yes.
very similar.
Very
Um, we both had, well, we'll get into, let's talk about the journey of why, both in a similar, stage. Mine happened right after softball. Yours, blessing from the Lord above, happened in your college softball journey. So why don't you get into it? In the thick
Um,
of it.
yes, I was 20. I was 20.
You were
So
20? I did not know that. I
I
thought you were
played,
a little bit older.
no, I
I'm so
played
dramatic. I'm like, you were 20. So
20.
dramatic.
I mean, yeah, valid. That's
Yeah.
a valid reaction.
hmm hmm
Um, yeah, so I played my freshman year, I was redshirted, I think. I think they pulled my red shirt like at the very end of the season because our main pitcher got hurt. But regardless, freshman year, sophomore year, played. So freshman year red shirt, played my sophomore or freshman, regular freshman year, sophomore year, and then played that third year and then got pregnant with Layla. Um, my summer going into what would be my fourth year.
Okay. So you were a junior, technically.
Yeah, I was a junior, but yeah.
So
And
you're going into your fall season, what we call fall ball, right?
found
You're going
out in
into,
July.
you found out in
So
July. Okay.
I was supposed to move in August.
Walk me through everything. Walk me through it. Because,
Oh,
like, like I mean, it's like the Eric Church song. It's like, or is it the Eric Church song or the Hardy song? Like Three Pink Lines. Which one is it? Both of them, I
I don't,
think, have one.
I don't
And it's
know.
just one of those, like, shit.
I mean, now it's
For
tough.
me,
You
it's
know,
fine. It's fine. We
this
love
is
our girls now, but
yeah. But I was definitely, like you said earlier, like you're gonna die if you get pregnant, type of thing. And
yep.
so that's where I was at mentally. Absolutely terrified. Not really sure what I was gonna do. Told my parents right away. Um, and it didn't go well. It did not go well. As I mean, any parent in that situation, I was on
Did you feel
scholarship
like, well, did you feel like your dad was standing behind the back step like this again?
times a million. Times a
Yeah.
million.
Yep.
So it wasn't great. That wasn't great. Telling them wasn't great. Um, but I ended up, I mean, I was like, well, I'm freshly pregnant, not due till March. So like I'm gonna go back to school. So I did. I went back to school. But I had to tell my teammates. And that was tough because I was set that next year to be the starting pitcher. So I went to one of the inter squad scrimmages that we had in summer and had to circle them up and tell them to their faces that I was pregnant and I wouldn't be able to play. That was another, like, I get choked up thinking about that because that was so difficult to do.
hmm
Um, but like, time to grow up, like, got to
hmm
figure it out. And so I told them, and for fall, like I was like not showing or anything. I was like, I can play, like it's fine. And they were like, absolutely not. You're not playing. So, I showed up to practices, but our practices were like 4.5 hours long. Like, and so it was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just standing here, I might as well just like work on my school stuff or whatever. So that kind of faded out. And so by the time spring rolled around, I was not at practice. I was huge. I was not at practices. I was not, I was giving birth in March. So,
hmm
uh, had Layla in March and, then her and I, once we got our bearings a little bit, we'd go to some games. But at this point, I was finishing out my semester at home, in Grand Rapids and doing stuff online and just finishing it out that way. Um, and so I was living at home in Grand Rapids, and then my boyfriend, husband now, but he was living in Buffalo, New York.
He took a
So
job there, right?
he took a job there.
hmm
But again, like we're so young and he's like, "Oh my gosh, like I have this precious baby that I have to now provide for." So
hmm
he, had a good job opportunity and took it. So he was living,
And Brandon played football. Yes.
he played football at Saginaw Valley, correct.
And what position did he play in football?
defensive end.
I was gonna say he's a big boy.
He's big boy.
He's
It's not
you can
small.
say that you can say that about football players.
Yeah, he's not small. So, so he was living in Buffalo, New York at the time. And I called him 2 a.m. He was working second shift. So he would get off of work at like midnight-ish.
Mhm.
And I called him so he had just gone to bed. I called him like, I'm going into labor. And he was in New York. And he's like, wait, actually, I'm like, no, actually, you need to like drive to Grand Rapids. And it's a 9-hour drive, I think, from New York, across through Canada, across Michigan. And he made it by my appointment that next morning at 11 a.m. And so he drove through the night, made it, and then I was in labor for 24 hours. But whatever, Brandon was there. And then
Blessings, blessings.
blessings, yes. So then, like we have this new baby. Brandon's living in New York. I'm in Grand Rapids. I'm like, "Oh, what do we do now, And so I made the decision to move to New York. I was like, I'm just going to play softball at the University of Buffalo and finish my degree there. Like, totally easy, totally fine, right?
Right?
And so I moved out there, and very quickly realized, like, okay, that this is not, I need to go where I'm comfortable because he was working like 14 hours a day at that point. And
Yeah,
I'm home
and you didn't know anybody.
and I'm 21 years old at this point, and I'm like, okay, so I then, this is all such a whirlwind. So then I decided, you know what? I'm going to go finish my final year at Saginaw Valley. I'm going to get my degree. I'm going to finish my softball career. And so very quickly, within like weeks, I moved from Buffalo to back to Saginaw. Um, Reached out to the coach, reached out to the AD. And there were a lot of people in my corner that made this possible. Um, I
I love it.
had,
I love it. I got goosebumps.
yeah, I had two of my teammates. They let me and Layla live in their living room of their apartment. So not an ideal situation for them, by any means, but out of the kindness
You
of their
know,
heart.
though, back in the day, even with the baby, back in the day, I just said this the other day, we were going camping and I got like a big bag, I got my makeup bag, and I got my toiletry bag, and I got this bag, and I got my pillow, and I got my blanket, I got my fan, and I got all these stakes.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I wouldn't even pack a bag.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would have probably just packed your diaper bag, maybe threw in your toothbrush, figured it out when you got there.
Yeah.
Like it's just like life is so different back then. And you're young. You're young.
Yeah.
So I
So
bet you that living room space was like absolutely perfect for you guys.
it worked. There was a bed and a crib and a closet thing and some of her toys, and you know it worked. We made it work. I had no choice but to make it work. So anyway, so I had spoken with the coach. They gave me my scholarship back.
Mm, I love that.
And honestly, like, I credit so much to that coach and those roommates. But that coach, he didn't have to do what he did. Like,
Hmm.
my situation wasn't ideal. The soccer coach's wife gave me a discount on daycare. So she watched Layla on some days when I had class and practice. And then, but the daycare ended at 5, and we'd have practice from like 2:30
Yeah.
to like 7 or whatever. And so the deal was like with my coach, like, hey, you come to practice, you get your pitching in, you get your running in, you get your workout in, and then you go get Layla. So like I didn't really do a ton of like that fielding. I didn't do any of the hitting. Like
Hmm.
I was mainly a pitcher. I was only a pitcher.
Hmm. Same.
So I did my work, and then I went and picked up Layla by 5 o'clock. Um, and that took a lot of understanding from my teammates as well. Because they watched me leave practice an hour and a half before they got to leave practice. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
That's when if you're an athlete, like
Hmm.
if a teammate is leaving practice or getting special treatment, like that's why I feel
Well,
like
you're in college. Like
um,
you gotta study, you gotta do all the things for school. Like you got
yeah,
exams and stuff. So it's like, okay, I mean, I only did exams in softball. You had to do exams, softball. Oh, take care of your baby.
Yes.
It's just so incredible. Like, I don't know if I could have done it. I mean, we say that, but you know, and I know personalities like us, we just do it.
You just
But
do it. And like looking back, I mean, now I'm on kid three, like hindsight, if my kid came to me and said, I'm gonna go play college softball and raise a baby, I'd be like, no, you're not. Like, there's no way to survive. And there were more nights than not that I called my mom crying. I called Brandon crying. Like, I'm done. I can't do this. I'm so tired because Layla didn't sleep. So she was up all
blessings, blessings.
all night, every night, and I'd have conditioning at 5 a.m. And
Uh-huh.
so it's like, okay, I would be in the kitchen rocking her because I had roommates. So like there was no
Hmm.
such thing as like cry it out because I had roommates. So I'm like, okay, you need
Hmm.
to be quiet. I'm rocking her and I'm watching the clock just turn over, just turn
Hmm.
over. And by the
Hmm.
time it gets to 3:30 in the morning and I'm looking at the clock, I'm like, there's no point in going to bed at this point because I need to be at conditioning by 5. And that was that
So
was
who
probably
watched Layla when you went to conditioning?
so my roommate would stay at our apartment with her while I went to conditioning because she was done with softball at that point. Bless her heart, literally. So she would stay while Layla slept, or she'd hang out with her from, 5 to 6 a.m., 5 to 6:30 in the morning. And then I would be back, before classes start and stuff like that.
And you did
Um,
this your fourth year. This is only one
this
year you had to do all this.
one year I did all this. And then, one time I slept through conditioning. And that's like a no-no. Like you
Uh-uh.
don't at the college level, you do not miss practices, you do not miss conditioning. And one time I slept through and I woke up in an absolute panic and I opened my phone to a text from my coach and it was like, you missed conditioning. It's okay. I hope you got some sleep. Like, let me off the hook on that one.
Uh-huh.
And he
Well,
just
your journey was a little different too. I hope that coach would have a little bit of grace. It's not like you're out at the raging at the club at 2:30 in the
right,
morning with the baby.
right.
Um, I mean, I had college roommates that missed, or not roommates, but college teammates that missed conditioning. They weren't taking care of a baby though. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
But still, he
So
didn't have to do any of that,
he didn't
you
have
know?
to do that. And I will forever be grateful to him that he had that kind of a heart to let me finish out, my senior
Hmm.
season. Um,
So, nitty gritty, that stuff is hard, but tell me about your senior season. Like, tell me about, like, was it worth finishing out that year and pitching and playing?
Absolutely.
Like,
Because
how?
because nobody can take that away from me. I don't have to look back and think, gosh, I wish that I would have stuck it out or I wish I would have
Right,
finished, you
right.
know. As hard as it was, I can look back and think, you know what, I did that. Like me
Hmm.
and my community, like my husband, my boyfriend, husband now, like we did that.
So, yeah, no one can steal that from you. I mean,
Yeah.
graduated, you played your senior year. How did your senior year go, though? Like,
Um, it went well. So a lot of people ask me, okay, well, how did you go to the games? And like, we're
hmm.
in Florida for 10 days and we're, like, how did you manage that? So when we went to Florida for spring training, that was my first time away from Layla. At this point, she is almost 1 year old. She's like 10, 11 months. Um, because we went in February. She turned 1 in March. So, I was an absolute wreck. I'm like, I don't want to go. Like, I can't leave her. But, Brandon, took off work and I flew to Florida. I was a mess. But Brandon took off work. So he was on Layla duty, for that 10 days. And then, um, we got to like the house that we were staying at in Florida and my teammates were like, Lex, go answer the door. And so I went and answered the door and it was Brandon and Layla. So he flew her down, and they stayed in like a hotel or whatever, and he took her to SeaWorld and all that. And then they came to my games in Florida. So that helped a ton. Times where we would have away games. and Layla would ride the bus, the team
Hmm.
bus with us, and my parents would meet us at the game, and they would watch her during the game, and then she'd ride the bus back. So that was an interesting dynamic too, because again, like I have a baby and like my teammates are trying to sleep or focus or do homework, and I'm like, okay, please be quiet, don't scream, don't cry, none of that. But
Yeah.
everybody, like I said, I had a really good community
Did
around
they
me.
like help out with you? Like, do they hold her? And
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, there was times when I had no choice but to bring her to practice.
Hmm.
A lot of times she was at the daycare, with the soccer coach's wife. But there were times when I had to bring her, and the
Hmm.
red shirt freshman would play with her in like the bullpen, and they'd just play in the dirt, or she would be in her stroller and she was just in the dugout. Like she was just there. And
Now,
so
did any like teams, opposing teams, like did people know about your story in that period of time? Like, were
I don't
you
think they did because social media wasn't really a thing. Like,
right?
nowadays if somebody, you'll see some girls like, video their journey as like a mom and a college athlete. I've seen a couple,
I
girls
have
do that.
two.
Like, but like that wasn't a thing. And I wish like part of me wishes I could have like videoed that time in my life and like look back on
Hmm.
it. But the other part of me is like, I liked the era with no social media, but I wish I had those moments to kind of look
Yeah.
back on, but it's stored up here.
Well, I know
But
everybody's like, I want to see videos of you pitching. I was like, doesn't
yeah, don't have
exist.
any. I don't
Like,
have
I
any.
think I have one video on a DVD that my dad has like stored away. It's a regional game and I'm pitching, and that's like all I have.
I have same one DVD of me playing in the Big League World Series because it was on ESPN, so it was
Yeah.
recorded. But like
Yeah.
other than that, I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Um, but then, like so that the season was a doozy, and then she walked out onto the field with me senior day,
Love
and
that.
we graduated. We finished. We did it.
Yeah.
So,
Was
and then
that a very like that moment? Was it just
it
like,
was. It definitely was. Us walking out, I do have that picture. Us walking
yeah.
out on the field, I was like, we stinking
You have
did
to
it.
send me that picture. I want to show everybody that
I will.
picture.
I will. I
We
have a
gotta show
photo
it.
of her and I, like when we picked up my cap and gown, and then I have a photo of her walking out on the field of me or with me on senior day, and then obviously I have a photo of me, her, and Brandon when I graduated. So,
Yeah. Send me these pictures. I think like we gotta
well,
share these pictures because
yeah,
I feel like your story is such a story that it's like you can't even imagine. You know what I mean? Like we
like
gotta see some proof.
yeah, yeah, it was wild. Like
Yeah.
looking back on it, I'm like, how in the world? But like, I mean, there's so many people that helped me through that. Brandon's mom, I mean, I would have night classes. What do you even do in night classes when there's
Hmm.
no daycare? And like Brandon's mom would meet me halfway, pick her up, watch her, and then I'd meet her halfway again after the class. And I think I did bring her to one class a couple times because I just didn't have a choice. I'm like, what am I supposed
Hmm.
to do? I can't just leave
Hmm.
her,
Yeah.
and there were a couple times when Brandon's brother was on campus playing football.
Okay. Okay.
So there were a few times where I dropped her off with the football players. Like, I need you to watch her for 2 hours. And it's just like looking back on that, I'm like, these
It's actually
18,
fantastic.
these
Fantastic.
18-year-old football players. And I'm like,
Hmm.
here's a baby. Please keep her alive for 2 hours. I'll be back. And and I just am like, this is nuts.
Like,
Like,
can you imagine in today's world? I'd be like,
yeah, yeah. And like, at their
like,
dorms or their apartments. And I'm like, and it's funny, like I'm still friends with like one of those football players was roommates with Brandon's brother, and he was just at our house the other night. And so we're
ah,
still
I
friends, but
love that though, because
I'm
like
like,
here's Lay all grown up, right?
yeah, yeah. He came over for Skylar's birthday, and now he's got two kids of his own, and I'm just like, remember when Layla was a baby and I was like, here you go. I need you to watch
Yep.
her for 2 hours. And these just
Yep.
like football players are like,
Yeah.
so
Were they like?
Literally. We got this. We got this. So, I mean, you just do what you can. It's pure survival mode. Pure survival mode
Oh
is
yeah,
what
yeah. I feel like motherhood in the beginning really is. You're
it
just
is.
added an extra layer of survival mode.
Absolutely.
So, all
So,
right. So you graduated. It's, you got a baby, you got your degree. Now what? I mean, I already know your end result, but like, I
yeah.
don't walk me through the process of this.
I then moved back to Buffalo again, to be with
Oh, I didn't
Brandon.
know that. Okay.
Yep, moved back out there. But made it very clear to him, like, I need my community, I need my village. I want to live in Grand Rapids.
Hmm.
So he made that happen. We lived in Davison on the east side of the state for a little bit, and then he got a job in Grand Rapids, and um we've been here ever since. So I was a stay-at-home mom for a while, and then I dabbled in Unique a little bit, and
Hmm.
then randomly, one of my old assistant high school coaches reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I'm coaching at the time he coached at West Catholic, and he was
Hmm.
like, I've got a pitcher. Can you like coach her? Can you give her some lessons?" And I was like, I had never ever thought I wanted to coach. Actually, I told my dad, I'm not coaching. Like, I don't want anything to do with softball. I'm not coaching. It's not in my future.
Why did it happen?
I
Why? You
know.
know?
Just can't stay
Yeah.
away. And I was like, sure. So like I started giving her lessons like once a week. Um, and we were trying to find random fields that were empty that we could go to. And and then we're in Michigan, so like when the weather turns, like where do you go? So then we were sneaking into her school balcony, like just trying to find anywhere
Hmm.
to pitch. And I mean, there was even times where like we pitched in her mom's condo basement. Like, and I'm talking, it was not the full 43 feet, but like it was really, really tight all around all of her Christmas decorations, her Halloween decorations. We had this tiny lane, and I'm like, this is what we got to work with. Like, we're gonna
Hmm.
figure it out. And so
Yeah.
that's where we pitched some of the time, and then we were sneaking into balconies, sneaking out of fields, like just trying to find empty spaces. And then a little bit of word of mouth, I started training a couple more girls, and then um the Hudsonville coach reached out to me.
He's like,
Full
I
circle,
remember you.
full circle moment there. Started training some of his girls, and he gave me access to his church. So I was giving lessons in his church gym. And
I
then
love that.
again, word of mouth. Hudsonville's a really, really good softball program. So like those girls, were it, and so people were like,
Hmm.
oh, who's training them, and so then I started giving lessons out of a travel ball facility that my daughter played for. And that was really kind of them to let me use the space. But it kind of got to the point where like they use that for their practices and stuff.
Hmm.
So I was limited, like, hey, Saturday mornings and like Sunday nights, like this is all the space you can have, which is I was grateful for, but it got to the point where like, okay, I need more hours. Otherwise, I can't give any more lessons than I am. And I remember being at my sister's house and telling my husband and my dad, I was like, I need a facility. And they're like,
Hmm.
you're like, no, why would you pay rent? Like, not a good idea. And I was like, no, you
Hmm.
don't. I get a facility, then I can have access to it 24/7. I have more hours. So even with me paying rent, I can still make money because I'm able to give more lessons. And they weren't super on board, but like they got on board because I was like, this is what I'm doing. And
Hmm.
well, I would drive around town with my kids and just try to look for empty buildings and like, and that's how Strike Three came about. I found a building. I called the guy. I'm like, "Can you let me see inside here?" And I measured it out. I'm like, and you've been in there, obviously. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's just enough space. Literally just enough. And we're busting at the seams now, but like it gets the job done. And so we opened Strike Three in the spring of 2023.
Okay.
And And so that was an official business then, and it's been booming
You
since.
are booked. You're booked. So 2023 you opened and you are booked. How many pitchers do you have under Strike Three
Oh, this
umbrella?
is a tough question.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I didn't put this one on the question
Because
sheet.
because there's, the ones I see consistently, I
Yeah.
would say 50 to 60
Hmm.
consistently. Um, maybe actually, I probably work, yeah, I would say probably 50 to 60 like weekly. And then like all together, if you add in me, Hannah, Bella, Emily, Ava,
Hmm.
like well over 100, what, 150. I don't know. I'm
Hmm.
just ballparking here.
So you have how many girls underneath you now? Hannah?
So we have Hannah. She's been with me since the very beginning. Liv was with us, but she got a coaching job down at Jack State in Alabama.
Yep.
So she's no longer with us, but I have Bella, who's a junior coach, Ava, and then
You
Emily.
just you just hired Ava and Emily, yes?
Yes.
So all of them but Emily are in the Grand Rapids area. And
Correct.
Emily is, so I guess fun fact, you guys, I'm in the central Michigan area. She's in the West Michigan side of the state. Um, and Emily is now, which I hope to bring Hannah and Emily on here and chit chat with them and talk about their journeys because I feel like every journey is important to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Big, small, Division 3, Division 2, Division 1, JUCO, whatever.
I agree.
Um,
'Cause there's no one way to do it.
Yeah, there really isn't. And I feel like so many people these days are really trying to make it a one-way path.
Yeah.
And it's so not that way, right?
Yeah.
I think too, what's missed a lot is the ultimate goal is actually not to be a softball player. I think that's crazy to say that, but it's also to get your degree. It's finding the right fit and getting your degree in what you are. And this is coming from someone saying too that I wouldn't mind that I think the trades are also a really good opportunity these
I
days.
think so too. I think so too.
So I think more or less like it's not so much about playing college softball. What softball has taught me is the work ethic, the adversity, overcoming things when shit gets hard. And I know things got hard for you. Things got hard for me in my journey in a different aspect. And falling out of love with the game. Did you ever, well, I mean, after Layla, you were like, I'm done with softball, right?
Right. Right.
Right. And my feeling came, I'm done with softball before I had Evelyn. So we'll talk about that in the next episode.
Yeah.
But so yeah, let's talk. We have on deck questions, right?
Yes. Yes.
So we asked, and you guys, if you guys have questions, you guys can comment below. But I asked on Instagram. I was like, "What if we were to start a podcast? What would you guys ask us?"
Yeah.
And so here are some of the questions. Okay. Okay, so we're calling these the on deck questions. So if you have questions and you want us to tackle them at the end of the episode, you can comment down below, or once a week, probably like earlier in the week, we'll put them in our Instagram stories. So make sure you guys follow us on socials. Mine is Trisha Hyde or Coach Trish on Instagram. Same for Facebook is all Amazon stuff. Instagram, just follow me on Instagram and TikTok. It's just Trisha Hyde, Coach Trish. Alexa, where can they find you?
My Instagram is alexa.williams02. And then my strike three, my pitching page is tagged on there as well. It's strike three, the number, fast pitch.
We'll
Uh,
put these all below and link them. Joey, you gotta tackle that for us. Put it all below for us. Okay. Let's see. I get questions, and I know you do. I mean, you are constantly being asked questions of pitching probably more specifically, I feel like I get a lot of coaching questions and it's so hard for me. Like I get them in my inbox and I feel bad sometimes because I don't answer them. Hmm. One, my inbox is long gone. Okay. I promise you, I am not ignoring people. It's just a lot and it overwhelms me. And I get a lot of messages regarding softball and then work stuff for, what I do for my job and I don't know how to put it back in a written form. That's really hard.
Yeah, it is really hard.
And so that was like one reason why I wanted to do something like this because I wanted to start, I guess, explaining my experience. I think one thing we really do have to like, me and her are non-confrontational people. Okay. So the way you guys are going to do stuff as a coach and the way you've experienced things with your kids or the way you're coaching is not wrong. We are just sharing our experience.
Our experience and how we do it.
Do it. So,
There's no right or wrong way.
yeah, I think more or less, like I see a lot of today's coaches arguing, man. And I'm just like, what kind of example are we setting for the youth? It's
Yeah.
just crazy. So when we answer these questions, it's not the Bible, it's just our take on things. So
Yes. Yes.
let's just go there. Okay. Um, the fall of high school softball recruiting would definitely sell. Okay, this is a good one because I know you talk a lot about the mental approach of pitching.
Oof.
So
Yes.
yeah. So this person said, Kelsey, hi Kelsey, mental part of the game with young girls, teaching them to be mentally tough. You go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, I want you to go first.
Oh gosh. Okay. Teaching them to be mentally tough. I would say this is tough in this day and age
Oh
because I
yeah.
feel like a lot of people tend to coddle,
Hmm.
protect their kids, which I'm a mom. I want to protect my kid as much as the next.
Hmm.
However, letting them fail, I
Mm.
think is important. And not protecting them from failing.
Yeah.
And telling them like, okay, if they strike out, not yelling at them and like, putting them down, but saying, you know what, it's okay, like on to the
Hmm.
next one and teaching them those like coping mechanisms for when they do fail because they are going to fail.
Yeah.
So I think letting them fail, but also being uplifting when they do fail, and letting them know that it's normal and it's okay can help them build confidence on the mound and at the plate. Like, oh, okay, I just struck out, but like, I'm gonna get this next one because you know
Hmm.
what? My dad believes in me, my mom believes in me, I've got
Hmm.
this. And just kind of
Right.
teaching them that way. Um, and then letting them feel that sting, like dang, I mean, I've done it. I've lost the regional championship game. I've watched a coach walk away from me after I, got lit up on the field. Letting it sting and letting them feel like, okay, I don't want to feel that way again. What do I have to do on my end to make sure that I don't feel that way again? Um but I think the biggest thing is just letting them fail, but also not screaming and yelling at the kids, like letting them know that you're there, you support them and it happens and on to the next one. That's my take
Hmm.
on it. What's your take on it?
All that they gotta fail to get better. Not protecting them 100%. Like you can't protect them. But like, I mean, we were in the barn last night pitching, and Ab has had volleyball every single day after practice. I know Layla's in the heat of practicing right now too. A lot of middle school girls are, and she's tired. She's real tired,
So
and she's tired, and we got to go to Grand Rapids tonight for a pitching lesson. And she's like, "Oh my gosh!" And I was like, "Sis, this is it. This is the grind. Like you have to do it when you're tired. You have to do this when you're tired." And I was like, "I'm not asking you to come and throw an hour bullpen session." And I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to be out here. Like
right.
I'm a pitcher. I am not a catcher. Okay. So I don't want to sit on this damn bucket and catch you either. I'm like, but you got to do this when you're tired because that's the stuff too that makes you more mentally tough. because you're
Yeah.
going to play games when you are freaking
It's
tired.
not it's not going to be sunshine and rainbows. How many times have you
No.
played sleet in the
Mm.
snow and it sucks and your fingers are frozen and
Yes,
you're
yes.
exhausted and you've got practice for 4 hours and oh, by the way, you have an exam tomorrow and you got to study for
Hmm.
that. Like, but that's real life. Like,
It's real life.
so it just is that's why I love sports so much because it does prepare you for real life because you're gonna fail, you're gonna be told no, and you're gonna be told you're not good enough. And you
Yep.
got to be able to overcome that to thrive in real life situations. And it starts
Yeah.
with sports, in my
And
opinion.
it totally starts with sports. And so, yeah, I mean, stuff like that I think builds mental toughness. The striking out thing, that is one thing. Like me as a coach, because I just don't coach Evelyn. I coach, 11 other girls that are not my own blood, right? And sometimes it's hard because when my kid strikes out, I'm like, I just like
Yeah,
do it, like,
100%.
you
Well, I
know?
mean, you saw me on the bucket when we played you and Layla was pitching. I was like, what is even happening right now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Never
yeah.
seen it so
And
horrible.
I literally went out or afterwards, I was like, dude, she needs to go hard. Like she's not going hard because I've seen Layla pitch how many times,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I'm like, she's not going hard, right? And we talk about it. And I even told Layla after the game, I was like, dude, you didn't go hard, and
Trash. I was
it.
like, out of my head.
But one thing I think, with coming, like when do you get after your kid, right? When it comes down to mentally being tough, mine is a lot about attitude, effort, and focus. Like if my kids go up there and, I say kids or Eb or whatever, and they go up there at the plate or even on the mound and they're just like not locked in and not dialed in, that's when I'm gonna get after you. Like we're gonna have a talk, right?
You can control that.
Or you can control that. Or there's the times where it's just like you can tell they're grinding, they're trying, they're doing their very best, and it is just not working. Like and there's days like that. That's when I'm like,
There's
you know,
days this doesn't
you
work.
did
And
you did you tried your best. We'll get it next time, So it's like as a coach, you kind of gotta you gotta know your player, read them, right? I think that's a whole female thing. I think I
KYP. My dad always said KYP, know your personnel.
yeah,
Know your
know your
player.
person.
Yeah.
And I think male, and I don't think male coaches don't do that, but I just think females read it very easily with kids. So there's that. But so yeah, I think mental toughness comes with that. I think again, I agree. I think parents
Just a
they
little too
coddle
much.
a little
Yeah.
too much. I do.
Hard.
I agree.
It's hard because you want to protect your kid. That's your motherly instinct.
Right. I mean, one thing too, like think about if you as a parent are getting in the car and right, you take a bad loss. We've all been there. We've all been there. We've all taken that bad loss, the loss that we shouldn't have done. And you get in immediately, you're like, well, that coach is this and that player didn't do this and this person did this. That's when I'm like, you're never going to build your kids' mental toughness ever because
Yeah.
there's no.
Pointing fingers.
Yes. Or my favorite, like, I mean, we all know the tournament we lost when we played 4 games, right? As
Yeah.
we played 4 games in a row. And I heard, well, they did play 4 games and it was the crappiest bracket draw ever. But again, adversity. And I won't chalk it up like, well, we played 4 games when it was a team that we've always beat.
Yeah.
So again, though, you gotta have that, you gotta
Yeah.
have that sting.
Let it
So I hope
sting.
that helps. Yeah, I hope that helps answer your question on mental toughness. How to network. This is from, well, I can't see the name, but it says how to network and find private lessons. I think I'll answer this one because I'm in a total different.
Yeah.
Well, Facebook groups are a blessing and a curse. In any sport, I think, because I'm sure there's more than just softball groups out there, but I think that's a good way to start, right? The easy way. Hey, I live in such and such area. I'm willing to drive. You got to like set your boundaries of how far you're willing to drive. I'm looking for X a hitting coach, fielding coach, catching coach, pitching coach. My daughter is X amount of age. Uh, whatever, who are some good options? That's how I would start. Another way is go and follow your local softball teams for high school and your local travel ball organizations. keep track of them on Game Changer for, let's say, pitching, for example, and keep track of them. And then, as ballsy as this is, reach out to their parents and say, where does that kid go for pitching?
100%.
Like,
You see a good kid on a pitching
mm-hmm,
in a game, find their parent, say, where does your
mm-hmm,
kid? If
mm-hmm,
this kid has a sick swing, if this kid is blocking, catching, if you see a really good athlete on the field in person, go ask. Go ask
yeah,
find their parent. You can usually figure it out. Find their
yeah.
parent and
You
say,
can usually
where
figure
does
it out,
that
right?
go? Because clearly you are getting results. And
Right.
that's what you want. You want results in the game. I mean, any coach can sit behind a screen and be like, "Oh, I'm the best. I do this, I do that." Like,
Mm-hmm.
but like, are your kids that you're training getting results?
Right. Can can they go from a lesson to a game and produce? Like that's my favorite thing. I see a lot right now is like, well, they had a great lesson. I'm like, I'm a coach on the field. That doesn't mean anything to me.
Right.
Like you're a different kind of coach. You see them in lessons. To me, I'm like, you get to see them at their best. Not always. You have some kids that come in and they struggle, but most of the time they come in with a clear head. They're ready to work. They're ready to do, you know,
Relax, there's no pressure, but that's why
yeah, like
situations.
right. And I see kids in the game setting, and I'm like, dude, I understand they had a good lesson. However, it's not translating to the game, and I
Yeah.
needed to translate it to game. So we need to do something here to help here, right? Whether it's a lesson or a practice or a live situation or something like that, there's got to be something that correlates
Yeah.
over.
Yep.
Okay, so let's see, one more question. Do you want to add anything? Is there anything you
No,
want to tackle in the coaching world right now?
that's perfect.
Um, oh, this one's like a hard one, but it says talk about different drills for age appropriate girls and what would benefit them. See, that's one is like so, you know what? I'm gonna answer this one because I think people think that 10U, your drills are easier than they should be at 16U. And I believe that from, I don't know if you feel the same, but I feel like people have overcomplicated the drills
Yes.
and overcomplicated where they're like, it's gotten like they're like, oh, well, we don't do that drill anymore because that's a 10U drill. Like,
I
un
have, I'll tell you this right now. Okay, we'll use McKenna as an example. High level pitcher.
yes, with high level pitcher.
High
McKenna's great.
level pitcher. I've got a couple high level pitchers right now. We're technically in off season. I
Yep,
have them fine tuning their mechanics right now with basic drills because you cannot get away from your foundation.
agree.
Basic
Yep.
stuff is going to affect, if the basic stuff goes, it's going to affect your high level stuff. If you don't have control of your weight back or stacked position, your rise ball gonna be trash. If you
Yep.
don't have control over your arm path, you're not going to be able to hit your spots. Things like that. So the basic stuff, I don't care how old you are, how good you are, it's just like doing T work. The pros do T
I
work.
was gonna say the T work, front hand, back hand,
Yeah.
right? Inside, outside, high pitch, front
Yeah.
toss, right? Like, right now we've been doing a lot of timing drills for front toss because
Yes.
you know, and I think that's what's so hard about the game of softball is we're always chasing the next big thing.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, this game isn't about chasing the next big thing. It's about doing the tedious things every single day, right? With my team, I call it Work It Wednesday, and they gotta submit videos of them, make them, but they have to do it or they get a punishment by our speed and agility coach. If they don't submit me like a 30-second video of them playing catch, working on the tee throughout the week. We call it Work It Wednesday. So I
Yeah.
get all these videos. It's actually hilarious because I got kids like they're in their socks hitting
Yeah.
hairs down. I got one girl, she got her
I did it
bonnet
though,
on.
coach. I did it.
I did it. I'm like, good for you, girl. Well, she got like her hair bonnet on and they're out there in their pajamas. They're hitting. I'm just like, whatever, man, get your stuff
You did
done.
it. Yeah.
And yeah, she did it. And so she texted me last night. She's like, "Sorry, coach, I took a nap after volleyball practice and I just woke up and it's like 8 o'clock." And I go, "You better get to work." That's all I said to her. I'm like, "Well, if you're not going to bed till 9:30, you have an hour and a half to go do, and it's 30 minutes." I said, "You guys got to squeeze in 30 minutes of catching, throwing, hitting off the tee, whatever." But it's just basic stuff. It's just
Yeah.
basic drill work that they have to do. And that is the game. It's doing the tedious things over and over and over and over. So I think, I mean, you can go in, to all these crazy stuff of, I see all the drills, right? But it is really about sticking to the basics at every age level, every
Yes.
age level. So, okay, I think that is a wrap for our very first episode from Dugouts to Daughters, which is crazy. Thank you, Chat GPT, for the name. We appreciate that. I'm not even going to try to say that we were like so creative.
Well, the
I just
on
told like
questions I came up with, I used Chat GPT too.
GPT, guys, there's the thing. You guys want to survive in life, get Chat GPT.
Literally.
Um, Bodie was using it last night for his math homework. I was like, I don't think we can do this, but like I think you gotta actually
Look at the
know
world
what we're
now.
doing. Right. Um, but yeah, so we have you can follow us on all of our socials. This is episode 1. Definitely ask questions below for the on deck questions, and we will answer 3 to 4 after every episode we are wrapping up. Next podcast will be about my journey into softball. We're definitely going to bring our dads on. They don't know it yet, but I know it. I can feel it. They're
Dano
going
and
to come on.
Dave.
Dano and Dave, we're called the Dano and Dave, but maybe we'll make them like regulars, because I have a feeling they're going to be fan favorites for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
They're going to
Absolutely.
be fan favorites 110%. Joey would probably have to edit out a lot of things because I feel like our dads are so old school. This generation is not ready for them. But you know what? That I give a lot of credit. I was the ball player I was because of my dad, for
Yeah,
sure.
agreed.
Like he saw stuff in me when no one else did, you
Yep.
know, and we can get into that. But um, yeah, so thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. If anybody watched, let's be real. This
Well,
might
I'm so
just be
excited to hear your story next week. It's gonna be good.
Well, you know what? If this doesn't work out and this doesn't go anywhere, at least we get to spend how many hours have we talked together? 2 hours, man. Do you know how hard that is for us?
Now that the kids are in school, I'm like, oh, I can talk to Trisha all day now.
I know it's fantastic. And it's like it's been so hard all summer long. I'm like, hold on, I'll call you back. And then it was like 4 days later. I'm like, I'm so sorry. What were we talking about? So
Every time one of us says, I gotta call you back. No, you're not calling me back. I'll just talk to you
no,
when I talk.
I'll talk to you when I talk to you. But this, we can say like we gotta do this for the podcast. We gotta do it for the podcast.
Podcast.
And fall
Perfect.
ball starting. We're both playing fall ball. Our kids are, not us, but our the girls are. They're playing fall ball. We're definitely gonna have to get Lay and Evan. They're definitely I know they're both wider than you and I though. So
Paula is literally new. So
she's
we'll
quiet.
see.
She's quiet. She's
Just say,
quiet.
"Mm."
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do an episode with them. They'll probably be like, my mom drives me nuts, but she's
Uh-huh.
always right. That's what it'll be. What you, what Layla say one time? I'm gonna play volleyball because you and Dad don't know anything about volleyball.
Yes. I want to play volleyball because you don't know anything about volleyball and you can't coach me. Like,
Yeah. Evelyn is on the I don't want to play basketball kick. We have squashed that debate. She is playing basketball. So we
yep.
worked through that. I was trying to help her make her own decision, but sometimes us moms just gotta
Yeah.
I'm like, you're gonna be a 3 sport athlete until we get to high school and then we'll reevaluate.
I have that rule for Layla too. She's playing all
Yep.
three in high school. And
Yep.
then we'll
And then we'll have to get into that. That will be the multi-sport
we
and
can
how
talk
to
about that in episodes for sure.
yes, definitely. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. We will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. That wraps up this episode of Dugouts to Daughters. Thanks for spending time with us and being part of this community of moms, athletes, and coaches who get what this journey is all about.
Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share with a fellow softball mom who could use this in her earbuds today. Until next time, keep showing up for your girls and keep playing like a girl, always.